This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your mower off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code STATEOFSAINTS, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to continue our talks about Saints minicamp. But on this edition, we got some special guests here on the State of the Saints podcast from the Who Dat Nation chat line. We have CB, and we also have Carly. What's going on, everybody?
What's happening?
How you doing, TJ?
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you two being here, being a part of the State of the Saints podcast, and just getting your take on Saints minicamp, man. So thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. No problem, TJ. I had to calm down, man. That intro had me bobble my head.
Hey, that's what it's for, man. That's what it's for. But I just wanted to get your take, man. We're talking about Saints minicamp on this edition. There's a lot of storylines going around. There's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of interviews, man. A lot of guys like Paulson Adebo talk to the media. We also have Nick Barnett, the new tight end. Also Chris Richard, the new secondaries coach. But let's go ahead and start with Paulson Adebo, the cornerback out of Stanford, 6'1", about 200 pounds, man. A good, smart, solid guy, man, and the Saints definitely need a cornerback. I'm gonna go ahead and start with you, CB. Looking at Paulson Adebo, looking at his upside and his skills and ability, do you think he has what it takes to, possibly fill that role that Janoris Jenkins left behind when he moved to Tennessee?
Well, the way it's looking right now, it's all eyes gonna be on him because the Cam Crawleys and even if we bring in a Kurt Patrick, I think those guys are going to be, some depth players. And the Debo, he set out in 20, this past season. And the year before that, where it was, he was playing some first round, type play. So, we could be getting that first round type of player. We don't know yet. So hopefully I'm pretty sure he been keeping himself in shape, knowing that he, decided to set out. I'm pretty sure he was in tip-top shape, kept training. And, we'll see. I'm hoping and praying that, he comes in camp and, just steps it up. And we've known for having, he's not an undrafted guy, but we've had undrafted guys like a Callaway that came in, stepped up, Deontay Harris. They done came in and made they mold, into a permanent position, on the Saints. So, Debo can do the same thing. That position, the number 2 cornerback spot is wide open. So he can come in, just grit his teeth and, hopefully he get that position. But I'm eager to see what he brings.
Yeah, Carla, what about you? What do you think about Paulson Adebo? Like I said, I mean, he seems like a pretty well-rounded guy, but what do you think about him?
I'm one of those people that I feel like if you put a certain player in a certain system, they can excel in it. And I feel like he will be one of those players that I don't know what to expect from him performance-wise because I haven't seen him play yet. But I feel like regardless of what type of player he is, the Saints will bring out the best in him. And I feel like with the guys that we have, like him standing on side of Marshawn Lattimore, and just him being even in the locker room with the safeties and Marcus Williams and all those guys, like when you have the right group of people around you, it can bring out the best in you. And I feel like just anybody that comes to this Saints system has the potential to be bigger than what they ever thought that they could be. And with that cornerback position being the spot that we really need to fill, I feel like with the energy that we got in that locker room, he would definitely excel at it. And I think he'll do just fine. He got the right people. If you're a rookie and you coming into a system that needs a specific spot filled, I feel like the Saints would be the perfect place for you to go with the coaching staff, the guys in the locker room, just the mentality that we hold. It's just so fun. It's young. You got guys that can relate to you. And then you can get so much information and knowledge from all these veterans because he's not going to be a cornerback coming into a position that's going to be filled on the other side by another rookie.
Right.
He got a a former defensive rookie of the year in Marshawn Lattimore. Like he has so much knowledge that's going to be there for him that he is set up for success. He just have to want it.
Yeah. I look at this guy and I think he's an extremely bright guy. Like I was listening to his interviews. You can tell like he has a lot of confidence in himself and he knows football. I mean, when he was getting asked questions, I mean, he was just breaking things down. And I'm like, man, the Saints got something there. You know what I'm saying? If he can actually translate that knowledge that he has on the field to like actually going out there and performing, they got something. And one thing that I seen that stood out too was the fact that they were saying that he was actually practicing on the inside as well as the outside. And that's something that the Saints been missing for a long time. The Saints always get those guys in the secondaries, rather they can do one or the other. It's rather they excel on the outside or they excel on the inside. They're teaching this guy how to do both positions. But one guy that's teaching these guys now is Chris Richard. And all of these guys in the secondary, from Malcolm Jenkins, from Marcus Williams to even Paulson Adebo, they talked about the passion that Chris Richard had. And Chris Richard, he was one of the masterminds behind the Legion of Boom back in Seattle when they had that dominant defense, that dominant secondary. And, he had some, little spill with the Cowboys as well, helped them turn around their defense a tad bit. But Carl, I'll start with you with this question. Chris Richard coming in, replacing Aaron Glenn as the secondaries coach. What do you think about that move?
Just so we're clear, a few episodes back when we first got him in the off season, I praised this guy and I said that this was the guy that they needed. I thought that this was actually a step up from who we just got rid of for him to replace, because his knowledge of football, the fact that you got somebody that basically molded a Richard Sherman, and then you got somebody with the talent of a Marshawn Lattimore that you can just take and just mold them to be better, help them understand the game more, because there's always room for improvement. I feel like this was the perfect guy to do it, and he's going to watch how different this defense is going to look with this man. Like, I'm telling you, he's going to bring the best out of these guys that they've never seen before, because when you get so comfortable like they was before, you tend to feel like it's nothing you can't do because you're just so comfortable in the spot that you're in. But he's going to break down everything for you and let you know, hey, you thought you was good. Now I'm going to show you why you're not good and make you great. I'm going to take what you already have and make it better. Like, he will humble you real quick. And I love that about him. And I think this was the perfect fit for him. I praised him when we first got him because I was excited, because I knew you see all this potential that this man is about to have fall in his lap? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a win-win situation. All they have to do is want it and work together. I'm telling you, it'll be unstoppable and amazing when you see the results that's gonna come if everybody put in the work.
Yeah, definitely. Malcolm Jenkins was talking about. He was talking about the difference between Aaron Glenn and Chris Richard from what he's seen so far, and he was talking about how hands-on Chris Richard was. I mean, talking about like getting under these guys' pads and teaching them like footwork. I mean, really like grabbing them by the waist and twisting them left
The
and right and
technique,
stuff like that.
getting
Yeah,
that
different
technique right.
technique. So he was talking about, man, I just ain't never. I'm not used to that type of stuff. But CB, Chris Richard, a secondaries coach of the New Orleans Saints. What do you think about that move, man?
Yeah, a pretty good move. He is back in his position, that he was up in Seattle. I know he went to Dallas, and it didn't kind of go right. That I believe it was one season, he had but he's back where he molded, the position he was at where the Legion of Doom, got created at.
Right.
So, he got a younger Debo. And one thing that I believe he'll fix, our DBs always had this problem, with turning their head, not, they getting called for pass interference. That's
Yes.
that's been a huge problem, with our DBs. Not as much with Marshawn, um, but like with Patrick Robinson, and the other DBs we had, we had a problem with getting our head turned, locating the ball. We just look at the receiver and then just try to react off of that. But hopefully, he not hopefully, I believe he, gonna definitely fix that. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what he brings.
Yeah, I'm just excited about it, man. They needed like a shot in the arm, this team, in the secondary. Because, I mean, the difference between he and Aaron Glenn, in my opinion, Aaron Glenn was a former player, playing this position. You can tell like he was kind of teaching these guys like to keep their morale high. You know what I'm saying? When they miss a play or something goes wrong, he's on the sideline comforting and consoling these guys, letting them know, man, keep your head in the game. But there was like very little technique being taught here. With Chris Richard, I feel like there's going to be accountability as well as technique being shown. And I just feel like you need that. And the Saints do not know how lucky they are to have a guy like this because, in my opinion, Chris Richard should be somebody's head coach. The fact that he was out of the league last year and wasn't coaching nobody is a shock to me. The Saints having this guy on their team, in their locker room, if something was to happen to Dennis Allen, I would be elated. You know what I'm saying? If he was the defensive coordinator of the Saints, I feel like honestly they would probably step up as a defense instead of stepping down. That's just my honest opinion about that. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Those there in the chat right now, we're gonna answer some questions from the Who Dat Nation. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's start with Jerry. Jerry, y'all familiar with Jerry SOTS and the Who Dat Nation chat line podcast tonight. So Jerry, special shout out to you, man. Thank you, brother, for being here. Yeah, man. Let's see. Q says it depends on who will be the number 2 wide receiver. Jameis wants to go deep this year, but we got to hope Traquan and Callaway can be the ones to take the top off the defense. And that's kind of the topic of the show tonight, about the offense being explosive. We heard Traquan Smith talking about when he was practicing with Jameis Winston. Jameis was like, don't stop running. Even if you're like a decoy player, if your route takes you down the field, just keep running. I can catch you from 50, 60 yards. Do y'all think this offense has a tendency of being more explosive than it was in years past? I'll start with you, Carly.
Yes, absolutely. And the reason is because with Jameis Winston, you have a guy with younger legs. You have a guy with a younger arm who can throw deep. He doesn't have to, I'm not going to say worry because this football and anything can happen. But in a sense, he don't have to be cautious of his arm the way that we were with Drew. We knew Drew had a limit because of his age, and that played a huge factor. But with Jameis, and he having so many guys around him that's just young, and they're all got fresh legs, we definitely have the tendency to be explosive. He got his eye fixed so he can see better. My only issue with Jameis is his accuracy. Like, I watched him last year when they did the quarterback challenge that they do in this right before the season starts. and his accuracy was really, really bad. But I don't think that it's gonna. I don't think that it's gonna be that bad coming into the season because again, it's been a year. He's had a year under Drew Brees just to sit on the bench, watch, learn. And I just think that we're gonna be very explosive. You're gonna see Sean Payton get inside that playbook and do plays that we've never seen before because he got so comfortable and predictable with Drew that now he has to cater to Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill and the talent that they can do.
Yeah. That's a good point right there. I'm just excited to see what this guy can do. I want him. I want to see Jameis change the narrative of what people think about him. I want to see him be able to see what he can do in an offense that I feel like a coach is not exactly telling him exactly what to do, but actually utilizing the strengths that he has, the skill set that he has, and putting that together in order to make a quality product on the field. CB, explosive plays. Do you see him coming for the New Orleans Saints in 2021?
Absolutely. But just like what Carly was saying, Jameis, he has to, long as he can, be better at, his accuracy, the long balls is definitely going to be there. We know this guy's a gunslinger, but the accuracy, he had to do his part as well as, work on the accuracy. But like I was saying the other day, he has pieces to complement him. He don't have to, he don't have to force anything, be as aggressive if he don't have to, because you got a dog in the backfield.
Right.
Come on, Ronald Jones, he not is nowhere near as dynamic as AK is in the backfield. So you can dump it off, kind of like 2011, those offenses when Breeze didn't have to force anything, you can dump it all to a Sproles or Pierre. I mean, we had guys like that, and that's what made our offenses, just so unpredictable. Teams didn't know what to do. Now, teams ain't going to be able to stack everybody up in the box and forcing Jameis to throw, trying to force him to throw over his head. So we definitely got the opportunity to be explosive. I think we can be, right near the Chiefs offense. If like I said, Jameis, he, if he does his part with the accuracy, I think we can be, just as explosive because we can be, unpredictable.
Yeah.
With the we got in the receivers, the speed, Traquan, I think he gonna play better with Jameis. Just the fact that he more of a deep threat, just like Emmanuel Sanders. He really couldn't thrive like that because last year he's a deep ball player. He wasn't able to execute that because Breeze on. But absolutely.
Yeah. I look at Jameis Winston, the ability to throw the ball down the field. I think that when you look at Drew Brees, a lot of people didn't fear the Saints offense like they once did because all they were doing was playing the sticks. They knew nothing was going to go over their heads. I can think how many times on one hand I've seen an explosive play down the field, and one of them didn't. I mean, a couple of them didn't even involve Drew Brees. One in the Kansas City Chiefs game when he threw the ball down the field to Emmanuel Sanders. There was two that Taysom Hill threw against the Falcons, and one, I think, in both of the games that he played. And, of course, the Jameis Winston divisional round game when he threw the ball to Traquan Smith. But I think now you're going to see guys being able to respect the Saints offense. You're not going to be able just to play the sticks and play the line of scrimmage and just think that you're going to get a dinking and dunking. If you don't look, then most likely Jameis Winston is going to throw the ball over your head. And not to mention, I think that he's going to be successful and they're going to have explosive plays because of the play action, man. You got to look at Latavius Murray, who can run between the tackles, Alvin Kamara, who can run in between the tackles, and you got to respect those guys. Both of those guys averaged about 5 yards a carry last season. So if you think that, I can play back, you know what I'm saying? Those guys can get through that first level and that second level. Next thing you know, they getting 10 and 15 yards. So guys going to have to take account of the explosiveness of those two running backs. And that's going to set up the play action for a lot of guys to make plays in 2021, man. It should be exciting to see. Tweety says, some might say I am irrational confident in the offense this year. But between Peyton tailoring offense to fit the talents of his personnel, a quarterback with an arm to open up route trees, and the O-line stability, the sky's the limit. I absolutely agree with that. Man, the fact that you have an explosive offense and a guy that can get that ball down the field. Frank says with Chris Richard coaching him, talking about a Debo, and with his teammates showing him the business, I think he would do well. I think Chris was a perfect pickup, especially since Glenn went to Detroit. That's a good point right there. Let's go to Eugene says, can't go wrong with the intelligence of a Stanford cat, and the kid just sounds like a Peyton guy. Good fit. Yeah, let's stop right there. And I'll start with you with this, CB. Sean Payton and the coaching staff, they do an outstanding job. Now, ever since, I want to say since 2016, when they had like a really, I have to say, a bad locker room. You had a lot of guys, a lot of knuckleheads, man, a lot of tension inside of that locker room. But the Saints really did a really good job from 2017 on down, drafting the right players. What do you think about these guys that they're drafting and the culture they created in the locker room, man?
Well, he definitely getting guys. The guys that's coming in, it's like they're all well no. I'm gonna start with Sean. I believe Sean, recent he has started getting involved with the players, the young wave that's coming in, just stuff like the dancing and just being more involved with them. Because if you remember, you go back a good 10 years ago, he was the arrogant. I mean, he still is, I'm pretty sure, but everybody was saying he's arrogant, he stuck up, but now you starting to see a more relaxed Sean. He's starting to vibe with the young guys, and that's helping, the locker room. Him doing the dancing stuff, I'm pretty sure in the practices he vibing with them. So that's just bringing, he's helped bringing, the culture together, so yeah, these young guys coming in and they seeing that, and that you got a Jameis that can, help out with that with the young guys coming in. Yeah, man, the culture is definitely great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they created a great culture. Carly, what do you think about the culture that's being set in New Orleans? A lot of fans get upset. I was one of them. A lot of the guys that they selected last year, Cesar Ruiz, this year, Peyton Turner, but they always seem to turn out to be solid picks and guys that are high character guys. So what do you think about the locker room culture that the coaching staff has created?
First of all, I think the coaching staff, their drafting is phenomenal. They always find diamonds in the rough, and they're always find these talented guys that no one else think of. So when we draft them, we're just like, wait, huh? Who is that? Where they come from? Because they look deeper than the way that we look. Because we just look at these big colleges that are well known, and we don't really look in the depths of these D2s and D3s that got all this talent. And as far as the culture goes, oh man, the culture, we're trendsetters. You can ask anybody that has anything, whether they're from New Orleans, they went to school in Louisiana, that's in the NFL right now, they would tell you how good this culture is. For example, about 2 years ago, the New York Jets was dancing in the end zone when they made a defensive stop, and Jamal Adams got on TV and he said that he didn't like that. He said, that's the New Orleans thing. They came up with that. That's theirs. Like, we're trendsetters. That culture is so contagious that once we bring something out, the whole league wants to do it. Everything that we've been doing, the league been doing it. And because we are the trendsetters. And as far as Sean Payton goes, listen, he's just getting older, and these guys that we're drafting, they're just getting younger. He can't stay stuck in his ways. He literally has to, change up his ways so that he can relate to the younger guys that he's getting if he wants to continue to be their head coach. Because now he has to work around their talents. The culture is contagious. And honestly, a lot of it goes to the fans too, because the players can do one thing, but it's the fans that hype them up that makes it bigger than what it really is. Because come on, when you think of New Orleans, we already got Mardi Gras. We already have second lines. There's just so much that when you have players actually want to come to the team just because of the locker room, you're doing something.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I definitely agree about the culture that's been set. I mean, you look at the New Orleans Saints, rather than celebration in the locker room, celebration on the field, they're the ones that created those things, and Sean Payton, he definitely had to change with the times. I mean, I've heard like on countless occasions Reggie Bush talk about it. He said, man, when I first got here in 2006, he said Sean Payton wasn't the way he was. He said he was a no-nonsense type guy. He said now you see strobe lights and stuff like that in the locker room, and him wearing J's and everything like that. He said, you had to change with the time. So adjusting to the culture and understanding, okay, the culture is a little bit different. This is a social media type world right here. This is, you know what I'm saying, a pop culture type world that I'm in. And it's rather I'm going to get with it, I'm going to get lost. Most coaches, you know, they kind of be like, I ain't trying to get down with that. It's my way or the highway. But Sean Payton, what has helped him be able to make this transition and help him to go into his 17th year is the fact that, you know, he's able to adapt and he understands, you know, he has to adapt with the time or it's going to, you know, he's going to get left behind. So that's one key factor right there. No doubt about it. Let's see. Let's go to Cast here. Cast, the supporter of the State of Saints podcast, says training Paulson to become a traveler outside and inside dude will be a hybrid stud. I agree with that, man. He's a smart player. Somebody already alluded to it. He went to Stanford, so that's all that need to be said. Lewis giving you a shout out, Carl. They said, "Oh, girl, spitting that fire." So yeah, somebody saying you dropping them dimes up in here. You know, looking like Chris Paul in the playoffs. You know. Okay, Eugene says, our lovely guest is laying it down on the difference Richard is making from a fundamental and also a standpoint, good stuff. So Eugene, yeah, he's definitely making a difference, no doubt about that. Randy says, Lewis, what's up? I didn't know you messed with the Saints podcast. Man, look, man, it's all love here, man. You know, if we talking about the Saints, you know what I'm saying? We all family here, man. You know what I'm saying? We all can learn, you know what I'm saying, and grow together. And that's what it's all about here, man. That's what I'm about. What'd you say, Carla?
There was a lot of fans that was a little bit confused. I just want to clear something up because they were confused about Chris Richard when he was like, my last name is Richard. Of course I chose New Orleans. And I think that they were like, oh, that didn't make sense. But just to break it down, he was saying because his last name is pronounced Richard instead of Richard, it's Creole.
Right.
And that was the correlation that he was making with New Orleans for everybody that felt like it didn't make sense. It did make sense because it's not pronounced Richard, it's Richard.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people think his last name is pronounced Richard. I mean, which, you know, technically it is, but you know, I mean, you know, the way that he pronounces it, Richard, yeah, it made perfect sense to me. Shouts out to my mom's best friend, Miss Richard, you know. So definitely made sense to me. Let's see. Lewis says, Randy, I see you keeping up with the squad. Who that? So he giving a shout out to Randy there. Randy says, I'm the one of those ones that's rocking with him from the early stages. Yeah, definitely, man. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely been rolling for a long time. Loyalty, man. We got a lot of supportive members of the Who Dat Nation, no doubt about it, man. Love doing this show, love doing it. Ren says Saints offense will be a lot more balanced and more explosive. Sean Payton will be able to open up the playbook more, and as long as Winston keeps the turnovers down, the Saints will be fine. Let me start with CB with this one. Jameis Winston has always been a guy that has to carry the team from Florida State to Tampa Bay when he was the first pick overall. They never really had a good offensive line. They never really had a good running game. He comes to the New Orleans Saints that have both. They have a good running game and they have a good offensive line. Do you think that with those recipes, with the running game, with the offensive line, it's a recipe for success and Jameis Winston will finally show the league what he's capable of?
I believe so. And I was just thinking earlier today. I mean, I seen this trainer came out, was talking about him, but I just got this feeling, man. I think he know the position he's in. You know, it's now or never. I mean, I'm not gonna say now or never, but if he blows this opportunity right here, you know, first off, he might as well forget a bag, you know, anytime soon, a big bag, and then it's gonna be tough for him to bounce back from, you know. And it's, you know, it's no shade towards Taysom. We know Taysom. I want to see him in this gadget role. Right. But if Taysom beats out Jameis, that's not going to be a good look on Jameis.
Yep.
You know, and then another thing, you know, we also got to look at his Tampa days. He had a different offensive coordinator every single year. And then, you know, with Bruce Arians, you know, yes, he did throw those picks. But something you was alluding to, you know, and you came on the show the other day, Tom Brady, well, let's not forget, he started off slow. You know, the first 6-7 games, he started off slow. You know, he was on pace to throw a good amount of picks. You know, and then what happens? AB comes on board. Bruce Arians didn't. He wasn't the leader for that move. It was Tom Brady. You know, because Arians didn't want him.
Right.
So you got that. Tom, he was able to step in. You know, he had that power and, you know, start doing stuff to cater him, you know, and everybody else on the offense. It wasn't that same type of Bruce Arians offense the second half. Jameis didn't, you know, had that leeway, you know, in Bruce Arians offense. So we got to look at that. And then he didn't have an offensive line in Tampa. Well, there's his last year in Tampa, he definitely didn't. You know, and then Ronald Jones, he's a good running back, but he's not no elite running back. He's not an elite pass catcher in the backfield. You know, and with us, we have AK dynamic, can run or catch, along with Latavius coming in. So he got pieces to help him out. You know, the weight is not on his shoulders. And then Mike Thomas, he got a, you know, security blanket there, which he had two receivers in Tampa too. I know that, but you know, you got a running back in the backfield, you know, that's a, you know, a star player. You got to account for everything. You just can't, you know, it's going to be these two receivers and that offensive line weak. So just get pressure on Winston, make them, you know, shaky. And that's what they did, you know, it's last year in Tampa.
Yeah.
But I think we got the pieces to complement them.
Yeah, I definitely do. Carly, when you looking at Jameis Winston being in a better situation, better offensive line, better running back. I mean, CB talked about it. You know, I mean, you see the struggles between Tom Brady and Bruce Arians early in the season. So I guess you can kind of say, man, Jameis Winston didn't have that type of leeway, right? He wasn't a 6-time Super Bowl champion, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it really wasn't much he can do. It's only he was only able to do what Bruce Arians told him to do. Now you have Sean Payton, not afraid to put his ego to the side, willing to put an offense and a game plan around Jameis in order for him to be successful. But now he has a running game, offensive line. What do you think about that? Do you think that it will help him tremendously?
I'm hoping that Sean will put his ego to the side and work with Jameis. Because for me, I'm a little bit different than y'all in the sense where if Taysom Hill gets the quarterback position over Jameis, I don't think it's going to be just because Taysom was a better quarterback. I think that if he got the position over Jameis, it would be because that's just the type of system, the offensive system that Sean Payton wants to play. He wants to cater his players around Taysom's style of play and not James's. So I don't think it'll be the battle of which quarterback is the best, but more so of which quarterback is going to cater to the way that Sean Payton wants to run his new offense.
All right.
And also, Jameis can't throw and catch the ball. Yes, he's had 30 interceptions when he was in Tampa Bay. But just like with Drew Brees, you know, when we lost in the playoffs against
Tampa?
No, the purple team.
Minnesota.
The Vikings came home and, you know, Drew Brees did an interview and they asked him, well, what happened on that last play? And he was like, you know, there was just a player who was at the time, we didn't know, but it was Jared Cook. They called the play and Jared Cook just wasn't in his spot, so the play didn't work. Right. I say that to say most of the time it wasn't really James's fault. He can't throw and catch the ball. If he called the play that Bruce Arians told him to play, and if the receivers weren't in the play, then he just did what he was told. So there was an interception because, again, his receivers weren't where they were supposed to be. And right. This system with the New Orleans Saints, thankfully he has more leeway. And this is a time where if he don't see the play, he can actually, you know, get out of the pocket and make a play out of nowhere, not out of no play, whether he wants to use his arm, whether he wants to use his leg, or whether he wants to dump it off. He has so much more freedom to be him, to be a leader, to show what he can do. And with this team that he has around him, he's just set up for, you know, for success. And this is the best position Jameis can be in with the players that he have, because you can go to any quarterback. I guarantee you, if Patrick Mahomes had a Alvin Kamara, a Michael Thomas, and everybody that we have on offense, oh man, he would have got paid way more money than he got now.
Yep. I mean, you look at like he had him, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, the guy like lied to the team, and he had Kareem Hunt. I mean, Kareem Hunt was right up there with him, you know, with Alvin Kamara.
Kareem Hunt, that's the stud. Like, I don't care about what he did in his personal life, but him as a football player, the guy is phenomenal.
Yep. I mean, That tell you everything. I mean, it was plenty plays where Patrick Mahomes was under the rest. He'll hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt go 80 yards.
Made a play out of no play.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jameis has that really for the first time in his NFL career. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to capitalize on that. Q says, expect the Saints to be more play action team this year. I agree with that.
Of course. Yeah.
I agree with that. Both running backs averaging about 5 yards a carry. It definitely is going to happen. Sean Payton will create a monster in a good way with Winston. Yeah, Sean Payton create monsters by utilizing guys' strengths. Anytime you go back in the archives, I mean, you look from a Devery Henderson, Robert Meacham, Willis Snead, all of them, you know what I'm saying? Like, he basically took what those guys did best and had a game plan around that. He never asked those guys to do something that they weren't comfortable with. And that's why I feel like Jameis is going to excel. He's not like, it's not going to be like with Bruce Arians. Like, I want you to do a 7-step drop and throw the ball down the field. No, if he feels like he's not comfortable with doing that, Sean is not going to put in a playbook. He's going to ball up, throw it in the trash. He's willing to build the offense around a guy's strength. And that has been his bread and butter since he got to New Orleans back in 2006. And it's going to continue to be that.
But that's the same reason why we were so predictable with Sean and Drew Brees, because he played to Drew Brees' strength. Unfortunately, everybody else in the league knew what Drew Brees can do too.
Right. Yeah, I think once like Drew Brees got into the twilight of his career, I think that's when like things just started to become way more predictable, because he didn't have that element of throwing the ball down the field the way he once did. Jerry says that Falcon video was hilarious. Yeah, I don't know if y'all checked it out, man. I did a Falcon video, about that, them losing Julio Jones, and for those that wasn't here to check it out, I have that clip for y'all. Y'all check this out. Hi, my name is TJ Jones. I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And I know there are a lot of Atlanta Falcon fans out there right now that are hurting. You probably have an emptiness in your heart. You probably have tears that want to roll down your face, all because your all-world, all-pro receiver Julio Jones is no longer with the team. Julio Jones, over 800 catches, 12,800 yards, and 60 touchdowns. Some might even say that Atlanta will never find that type of production at the receiver position ever again. But this isn't a time for that. This is time to reflect. And yes, I get it. It's a Saints fan. You ain't trying to hear nothing I got to say. Look, I understand. I know a little something about loss. But that's what I'm here for today, to help you as you close the chapter on a book that was written by a great receiver. This is for the city of Atlanta. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's a TJ Jones production right there.
Best motion picture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. They thinking Calvin Ridley about to take off. I mean, Calvin Ridley, he a dog now, but I don't know if he's just gonna be able to take off like they think he is. People got him leading the league in receiving this year. I ain't so sure about that. The focus was Julio. I mean, Calvin Ridley was eating down there, but the main focus was Julio. Now he gonna be getting everybody's number ones. So you see.
So you think it's gonna be like a Juju Smith-Schuster type of deal? You remember when Juju, like, he had that big year when AB, he was AB number 2. Then when he became a number 1, he kind of took a step back. What do you think about that, CB?
With Calvin Ridley was way more crisp with his route runners than Juju was. So I believe, that alone will get him open. But far as him having the production that he's been having, I'm not sure about that. But I think he can still get 1,000 yards. But I don't think it'll be a Juju Smith-Schuster style. I don't think it'll be like that. It'll go off like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Calvin Ridley is a better receiver than Juju. I seen last year he took a step forward. I don't think that would just a coincidence. I mean, I really seen like, him emerge as being that top receiver. Now, I mean, you're gonna have to demand a double team this season, man. So I mean, we'll see. We're gonna see what we can bring to the table here. Rudy says, I started working out 100 burpees for 30 days and I'm on day 8, man. Well, I hope everything work out for you, Rudy, man. Continue to work hard. You know what I'm saying? Get in that gym, get your swole on. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you'll get those results, man. Get summertime fine for them ladies. You know what I'm saying? Nick says, what y'all think about Zach playing the will linebacker? Carly, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think about Zach Bond? Do you think that he's going to improve year 2?
I do think he's going to improve year 2 because think about it. Year 1 he came in the midst of a pandemic. You didn't get a preseason. He didn't really get to show his full potential of what he can do. But now that he has a year under his belt, they're still young, they're still fresh, they're still new to this business. You know what I'm saying? Now he has to just mentally be prepared for it. He should know how to, read a playbook and learn it, faster. He can mentally be prepared for this because last year they didn't have all these opportunities the way that they have now. They came under different circumstances. So I do like that him at linebacker. I'm excited to see what he can do. That's one of the 3 positions that I was, waiting to see improvement for. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I think he's going to do great.
Yeah, I mean, look, no OTAs, no minute camp, none of that stuff that they had all season activities. All that stuff was virtual because we got to keep in mind we were going through a pandemic at that time. And those were uncharted waters, man. Like, I understand that you had like guys that come in and they played pretty well, but that stuff is important and beneficial, and especially a Saints defense and offense. I mean, you hear about these players always talking about how complex the offense or the defense of the Saints is. And so if you don't have like, OTAs, minicamp, don't have that opportunity to really go out and be in a classroom, being among the veterans and teaching you the little nuances, you can take steps back here. So I understand why Zach Bond wasn't everything that we probably thought he would be coming out of college. So CB, let me ask you this, man. Zach Bond here. Do you think that he will take that leap in year 2 now that he has an OTA and a mini camp under his belt?
I believe he will definitely improve, but far as a wheel linebacker, I hadn't seen no kind of tape of him, playing that position. In college it was, either he was, rushing the passer, or he was playing a little outside linebacker, but he was mainly used as a pass rusher. Now, what I think has happened, right now, things can change, but what I think is we done brought in Peyton Turner. We got Carl Granderson. We kind of stacked, with pass rushers. So I believe this is probably his only opportunity to really get some snaps this year. Because we know we running with 2 linebackers, and the might is DeMario. I believe Will is the only spot that he, has a chance at seeing snaps at. Because Davenport gonna be getting snaps. I don't know who they gonna put at the 3 technique. They may put Turner there, but either way, Davenport and Turner, they gonna be. If one of them ain't at the 3, they're gonna be rotating in rushing. But the way it look right now, I believe Zach Bond, this is the only spot that he has to really get a lot of reps at.
Yeah. I mean, look, the only thing that bothers me about this is if you're playing a will, you got to be fast. Like, you got to be one of the fastest linebackers on the field because you covering the weak side of the field. Everything else is on the strong side, so you have to run over to the strong side where most of the, where most of the traffic is. You got to be able to work, man. So Zach Boyd must be pretty doggone fast, man, for him to play that position. And you got to be the best. You got to be the sure tackler. I would have thought somebody like Pete Warner, rookie out of Ohio State, would have been the wheel, because not only can he cover running backs and tight ends, but he's pretty doggone fast to get from left to right. So I know he's practicing at the wheel, but I would be highly surprised if he's the starting wheel linebacker. I'm looking at P. Warner to be that position like his first year, and then maybe him be sliding into that Mike position. You know what I'm saying? Because Demario Davis doesn't really want to play the Mike position that much. He wants to be kind of that free linebacker, you know what I'm saying, to play some of these positions and you know what I'm saying, be able to rush the quarterback and stuff like that. He doesn't really want to play that Mike. So I can see Pete Warner transition into that position, but man, you got to be a burner and you got to be able to cover. And you just said it, CB, most of the time he was putting his hand on the ground at Wisconsin, man, rushing the quarterback. That's not technically the role of what you would see in a wheel linebacker in a pro. So, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting, man. Hopefully we'll see some improvement there. Terrence says, Sean already know Taysom is his starter. That offensive line will have fun this season, punching people in the mouth, blocking for Hill, Kamara, Murray. Meanwhile, Taysom is an underrated passer that will carve up defenses. Terrified already of his running game and playing 8 and 9 man fronts. Terrence is a supporter of Taysom Hill. Carly, I'm gonna start with you. Taysom Hill being the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Do you think that's a possibility?
It ain't happening. Baby boy's in the fantasy world. He's talking about what he would like to see, but he ain't gonna see it on this Saints team. Okay, there is no way in hell Taysom Hill is going to be our starting quarterback.
Oh, okay. So you mean you tell me that you're basically saying
hell no to the no, hell to the no.
So basically, what you saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right. So we got a hell to the no right there from Carly. I mean, but why is it okay? Why is it that everybody just what do people see? Like let's just go ahead and just eliminate the whole Jameis thing. When people see Taysom Hill and they say Taysom Hill is going to be the starting quarterback, what do you think that they actually are seeing, Carly?
I think they're seeing this guy who is extremely tall, who got some length to him, and that can run. That's all they're seeing. But the thing that they're not understanding is Taysom Hill plays every other position better than the one that he wants to be. He's a better everything than he is a quarterback. First of all, he has to know mentally how to be a quarterback. And what I mean by that is there's a time to be a quarterback, and then there's a time when he's going to run with the ball, and he needs to know when to slide to give up the play. He doesn't know how to do that because once he runs with the ball, he's no longer a quarterback. He's now a receiver, and he's running with the ball, which means they can hit him how they want to hit him. There's no more protection for him at the quarterback position. But he doesn't even know how to slide to give up the play. How can he be a starting quarterback when he doesn't even know quarterback 101?
Man, I mean, I don't know, but there's a lot of Taysom supporters out there, CB. There's a lot of supporters. People think that they're going to.
I just don't support him as a starting quarterback over Jameis.
Yeah. I mean, I fall into that category as well. I feel like the Saints are most likely going to have Jameis as the starter. But this is Sean Payton we're talking about. But right. CB, I mean, a lot of Taysom Hill supporters out there. I mean, who do you leaning towards? Are you leaning towards Taysom or are you leaning towards Jameis Winston?
No, I'm leaning towards Jameis. And the thing with that, just think about it. If Taysom starts, I believe that's going to take the ball that's going to take more touches away from the running back committee and possibly Michael Thomas. Because if Taysom start, Sean is going to have an offense centered around Taysom. So what are you doing? You got a guy making, big bucks in the backfield. Then you got $100 million man at receiver. If Taysom gets any kind of pressure, it's a good chance he going to take off. Especially after watching tape last year, he's seeing how he just tried to stay in the pocket. He going to take off more. That's taking snaps away from, AK and, a Mike Thomas. But when you got a Jameis back there, you can utilize both. I mean, I know you can still utilize Taysom. He can still, get in the game and do his, Swiss Army knife, type plays. But I think it'll kind of take away from, AK and Mike's, reps, in my opinion, because you got to center the offense around Taysom, and if you gonna have Taysom dropping back, more than he's taking off with the ball, they're not gonna do that. Yeah. So you got to make sure you compliment you with your $100 million receiver, which he gonna need the ball, and then AK in the backfield.
Yeah. I mean, look, I said the same thing. I was talking to somebody. This was during a time when nobody knew where Julio Jones was going. And we had like a couple Baltimore Raven fans that came on here, and they were talking about, man, Julio, he going to Baltimore. He going to Baltimore. I said, no, he's not. I said, Julio not going to Baltimore because here's the thing. When you're a guy who had over 800 receptions, 12,800 yards, you're basically chasing history right now. And it's about legacy. And no disrespect to Lamar Jackson. I know he's a league MVP. I know he's extremely talented. But you just alluded to it, CB. He runs the ball a lot. When he's in trouble, he's getting out that pocket. And, it looked dynamic. The crowd is happy. But guess who ain't happy? Hollywood Brown ain't happy. You know what I'm saying? Rashad Bateman, the newly acquired rookie, ain't going to be happy. These guys want to catch the football. And when you have a guy like Taysom Hill, like you said, going to take off and run, yeah, he getting big yards. Yeah, he getting notoriety and fame. But guess who on the sideline upset, man, because they feel like they can do more? Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. And I don't know if anybody heard this or you probably paid attention to it, but Alvin Kamara is pretty straightforward. He's a straight shooter. When they say, man, were you surprised? I think it was one game. I think it was against Philly. He said, were you surprised that you didn't get at least one pass play, on the screenplay when Taysom was in? He was like, yeah, man. He was like, I would have thought like, man, maybe one time I'll get a pass. He ain't even look my way. Bruh, dudes don't say that unless they really mean it or, that's like, man, trust me. They say all the right things, because they want to keep those endorsements coming in and they don't want to rock the boat. But behind closed doors, man, they probably talking to Sean like, hey, man, you might want to be looking at Jameis because I know Jameis going to give me this ball. I know I'm going to get about 1,500, 1,700 yards when Jameis throwing that football versus Taysom, who in the first line of trouble, you're going to be running out of pocket. He ain't going to try to stand strong up and then deliver it. So guys do talk, man, and these dudes want to get paid at the end of the day, man. I mean, they team first guys, but at the same time, man, they want that Skrilla. Kim says, no lie, TJ, he's fast. Did you see him run up and hit that old dude that you heard it through the TV? I think it was the 49ers game. I think they talking about Zach Bond.
He's talking about Jack McKinnon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look.
And she's talking about Jack McKinnon and she's talking about Zach Bond. Because actually, I was going to bring that point up, too, about Zach Bond. When you was like, he got to be fast. I was going to say, you better go ask Jack McKinney how fast he is. So I with her and I on the same page. She's definitely talking about Zach Bond and Jack McKinnon.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would expect for him to be fast because, I mean, they got some footage going around YouTube of him playing running back in high school. And, I mean, homeboy was, like, really, really good, man. He was, like, he went up for over almost 2,000 yards when he was in high school. So I know he can run, but, I mean, he must be the fastest linebacker. I mean, you got to be fast, man, because you got to cover a lot of ground to be a real linebacker. You got to be the fast. You honestly have to be the fastest linebacker on the team. Let's see. But I want Jameis to ball out. I think we all do, Roderick. I think we all want Jameis to ball out. Gigi says, I'm wondering what has Taysom really done as a quarterback in NFL? Absolutely nothing. That's interesting. I mean, look, he's done some things, but not at the quarterback position. I don't think he's done enough.
Absolutely.
Sean Payton had a whole year to scheme up an offense playbook for a famous Jameis. Yeah, I think the second year in the Saints offense will do Jameis some good year or two. Because, I mean, it was the same way with Teddy Bridgewater. A lot of people don't know. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater was it for the Saints the whole entire year. You know what I'm saying? That second year, that's when he started those 5 games. So he had a whole full year in the Saints uniform under his belt before he hit the field. I mean, I don't really count that week 17 game in 2018. I mean, they got 2 offensive linemen off the street just to get through that game because they had the 1 seed at that time. So I don't really count that game. But those 5 games that he played, I mean, that was the second year as a New Orleans Saints quarterback. Eugene says Taysom starting means significantly less receiving touches for AK. I agree with that.
Michael Thomas, Emmanuel, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, CB, let me ask you this, man. There's there's some talk going around about AK Alvin Kamara being a part of that thousand group, 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. Last year he could have had 1,000 yards rushing. Of course, he missed those games due to COVID. Do you think that he can be a part of that exclusive club of 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing yards?
Absolutely, this year. I mean, and just think how he was getting his yards last year. I mean, with defenses up, in the box now, he's gonna defense is gonna have to, play back. So that's gonna give him more room to operate in. And I think we're gonna really bring the screen game back. That's why, like, just back to the Taysom thing. I think what Sean gonna go back to the vertical style offense where throwing a lot of seam balls, and then that's gonna open up, the play action definitely gonna work, and then the screen game. So I think the screen game gonna really, help AK out. He gonna have more room to operate. So yeah, he gonna have more. I believe he gonna have more, breakaway plays this year, and I think he can get it. He can definitely get it.
Yeah, I think.
Look at the way this man is working out in the off season. His training that he's doing, he's literally training as if that is the plan for him, anyways. Not to mention his rookie year and his sophomore year. Those guys couldn't even take this man down. They was taking his extra small shirt and ripping it all the way to a 3X because he was so hard to tackle. Like, this man, the way that, and it even goes back to what we were saying about the culture. He have people working out the same way that he work out. He's getting trainers to train. They're getting trainers to train them the way that they see AK is training in the off season, because they want to do what it is that he's doing, because he's so explosive. It doesn't matter what you know about the play that we're going to call, how you think it's going to go down. Elvin is going to make a way to prove you wrong. Like, he's that strong. He's that fast. He's that versatile. He's just that athletic. And it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, look, the balance that this dude have. I mean, the way that this guy can just fit through holes, and you think that you got him down on the ground. I mean, his balance is impeccable. But I mean, he's always talking about his training and how he's coming up with different techniques to better himself as a running back. And I mean, he gets better every single year. And I mean, he works out really hard, man. He works out really hard, and I mean, it's paying dividends for his career, no doubt about that. Ghostface, giving a shout out to you both. Shout out to CB and Carly, Who That Fam, Ghostface Griller right there, a supporter of the State of the Saints podcast. And I want to let everybody know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Go to Manscaped.com for all of your male grooming items. Father's Day is just around the corner, and the best gift for your father as well as yourself is a nice gift from Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for their grooming needs. Use the promo code State of Saints. That's all one word, State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of Manscaped items. And they also have free international shipping. And right now available is the Lawnmower 4.0, as well as the Weed Whacker and other Manscaped items. So go to Manscaped.com. Once again, thank you, Manscaped, for being an official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Had to pay them bills real quick. Cody said Saints defense will make Jameis look like the poor decision maker he is in practice. At least Taysom can make a play with his legs is things breaking down. Taysom also knows the playbook way better. This is another Taysom Hill supporter right here. I'm gonna just say this. I understand why people are getting like really excited about Taysom. They look at somebody like Lamar Jackson, right? And the comparison that people have been talking about was Lamar Jackson. And they start to, wrap Taysom in that same type of bowl. But Taysom as a runner isn't nowhere on the level of a Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson becomes a running back when he gets out that pocket. I mean, this guy's like extremely elusive. Like, this dude have guys turning around. Like, I remember like one play, I think it was like in the rain, his MVP season, they played the 49ers. And the guy thought he had him in the backfield. And I'm talking about this dude put a juke move on this dude, man, left that boy in his, left that dude in the backfield and gained about 15 yards. Taysom is not on the level of a Lamar Jackson. Taysom Hill has a lot of work to do at the quarterback position, man. And I think a lot of people look at Taysom Hill as a football player and not as a quarterback. They respect his skill as a football player, running people over, catching a football, and all the things that he do. And I get it, right? When you see a guy working hard, doing well, it's almost like Andy Tanner, right? I know y'all probably know who he is. He was that wide receiver that kept on getting cut, kept on bringing them back, kept on getting cut. Now, you start rooting for Andy Tanner. You want him to make the team. It's the same way with Taysom Hill. People want this guy to succeed so bad, and I don't think that they're understanding that playing a quarterback position is completely different. I want him to succeed too, but I'm just saying, game in, game out at the quarterback position, I feel like Jameis would be the best fit. Carly, I'll start with you on this one. I don't know, like Taysom Hill. I mean, what do you think? Like, what is it? What is it that people just think that he has over Jameis?
I think, see, here's my thing that I want everybody to understand. What the real problem for me when it comes to Jameis versus Taysom. You have to think of it on a broader scale, okay? A quarterback can make or break a receiver. But when you have somebody like Taysom Hill, who's going to play your quarterback, who can also play your receiver and take snaps away from your receivers, then what do you have your receivers there for if you're giving their opportunity to your quarterback? Like, I want my quarterback to be my quarterback, and I want my quarterback to make my guys around him better. I want him to utilize the weapons that he has around him. That's what they're there for. I don't want my quarterback having to risk his legs to get hurt because he thinks he can do it. No, like I said earlier, Taysom doesn't know how to slide and give up the play, which is why he always get his ass smacked. Like there's levels to this. And y'all like Taysom because y'all like him in the sense of him being a Swiss Army knife. And again, we said he's great at everything else but quarterback. The quarterback is his weakest link. Yep. That's the one spot that he's not that great at. So for y'all to want Taysom Hill to be the starter over Jameis Winston, that's just your favoritism, not your athleticism. But that also shows that you never played football and you really don't understand the game as much as you think you do. Because if you did, you would not want Taysom as your starting quarterback over a Jameis Winston. There's no way in hell you want that.
I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it, CB. What is it about this Taysom Hill love affair between some members of the Who Dat Nation and and Taysom? What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think just a few plays that he had, throwing the football before he got the starting out when Breeze went down. You got that, and then the two Falcons games. I think they really looking at them Falcons games and thinking, that's how he, gonna be moving versus everybody else. The Falcons had the worst 31st, I think it's 31st or last, pass defense in the game. Throwing the ball against them, I don't think that's really nothing to, harp about. But then, when we go up to Denver, a pretty solid defense, then what do we have there? Did Taysom wasn't leading he wasn't leading the charge up there. It was other factors that, caused us to, win 31-3 or something like that. But yeah, I think if you look at Sean, he loves a receiving tight end. Adam Trautman is a receiving tight end, but two tight ends, he loved to use that system as well. So I think Taysom can, get in that role as part of his Swift Army package, run them seam routes. He's fast. I really, like I said, man, I really don't know what people, really see. I mean, people just looking at Jameis and they looking at all them picks. But we just got to look at Tom Brady. We seen a significant change in his play between the first 6 to 7 games compared to the second half of the season. I mean, because honestly, I thought like the end was drawing near with him, like he was on father time those first few games. The media was trying to talk about, it takes time to get the offense. No, it was looking bad for him. And once he got AB on board, along with, getting at our offense, you can see the offense change up. You know, you can see the type of plays they was running. The offense changed up. So, and then Jameis having those different offensive coordinators every year. You got to learn a new playbook every year. Jameis now, he had 2 off seasons of learning this playbook. But it'll be smart. Why wouldn't you want a extra dynamic player, that can be get in the slot? You put him in the slot, you had AK in the backfield. That's just putting another threat, on the field. Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm about to just go ahead and just call a spade a spade. You got a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation that don't want Jameis to be the quarterback simply because he's black. You got another combination of individuals that they just feel like because he's African American, he can't make decisions. You still got the classic absent-minded people that still living in the Stone Age. Then you have people that look at football, that look at these sports shows, and they get that stuff hammered into their head about Jameis, interceptions. But this dude was the first pick overall. This dude went to a terrible, like, when you have the first pick overall, your team sucks. You're not good. You're the worst team in the league if you have the first pick overall, unless you made one hell of a deal in order for you to get in that spot. 9 times out of 10, you're the worst team in the league. This dude didn't have an offensive line. This dude didn't have a running game. This dude had a coach that didn't respect him as a passer because he just thought that his way was the highway. And then on top of that, look at Bruce Arians' track record. Everywhere he went, every quarterback that he has taught had a high number of interceptions. Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different guys, man, like Carson Palmer, all of them had a high rate of interceptions. Even Tom Brady, like you just said, CB, he was on the trajectory to throw about 20, 21 interceptions until they changed the offense after the bye week. But nobody's paying attention to that. This dude only had like one season we had a high rate of interceptions. Every other season, he was between 12 to 15 interceptions. You know who else had 12 to 15 interceptions? Drew Brees. Drew Brees didn't start throwing single-digit interceptions until towards the end of his career. Like, Drew Brees was throwing 12, 15 interceptions. So I don't understand, like, why people just starting to look at that and make it seem like, he just god awful. Like I'm just saying, there's some people out here that look at this guy, the color of his skin, and they make that determination. And then there's other people that look at it. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Carl. Go ahead.
I'm so happy you said it because I didn't want to say it on your channel. I was actually beating around the bush with it. But we
keep it real here, Carly. We keep it real here.
Thank you. I'm glad I know that now because I really been wanting to say it and I've been wanting to end this whole show. Like, that's the real reason because let's be honest, Louisiana, it's a red state. And I think that people just want Taysom because he's white. If you want Taysom to be quarterback, then if just based off of being the quarterback in the way that he played the quarterback position, then tell Sean Payton go out there and get Colin Kaepernick. If we're going just off of his skill in quarterback in the way that he plays the game at quarterback, I know a black quarterback that can do that and do it better. If we're just going off of him being your quarterback, not the Swiss Army knife. But him just being the quarterback. I know a black quarterback, a few of them that can do just what Taysom doing and doing better. But I guarantee you wouldn't like that. You wouldn't want that. But that's because of the color of his skin. You want him because you want that white quarterback. You don't want to see that black quarterback being your starting quarterback. You so used to seeing Drew Brees and the I don't see color thing. You think that the white is the right way to go to be a success on this team. And that's not it. Like, that's just not it.
Now, like, I'm gonna say this: they got people out there, you know what I'm saying? They got some people out there that feel that way, but then they got other people, like I said, that get sucked up into this media circus, and they just start to look at this stuff and they just, feel like, okay, I watched this, they absolutely right. That's the reason I don't want Jameis. But look, Jameis is the first pick overall. Jameis, to me, has better arm talent than even Drew Brees had. Throwing the ball down the field, being able to fit the ball in certain areas. I'm talking about his arm talent. You can talk about decision making, all that kind of stuff, and as a quarterback as a whole, he ain't touching Drew. But when you're talking about arm talent, he has better arm talent than Drew Brees. If he can channel that in the right situation, he can be a damn good quarterback. Straight up.
Ain't gonna get broke because Pete missed the block.
Terrence says, what makes y'all think that Taysom not getting better? Last year he went 3-1. This guy going into the season knowing he's having a training camp battle to be a starting quarterback. You don't think this guy training hard? It's not the fact that he ain't training hard. You can train hard as you want to. I put it like this. Let me see. Elvis Gervais, back in the day, he was a backup quarterback for the 49ers. He can train as hard as he wants to. He wasn't going to be a better quarterback than Joe Montana or Steve Young. Okay. Bubby Brister, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he trained hard when he was the backup quarterback for John Elway, but he wasn't beating out John Elway. Look, Taysom Hill, to me, when it comes to arm talent, arm strength, ability to throw the football, deliver the ball on the run, and make all the throws, he ain't touching Jameis Winston. He not. Taysom Hill is going to have to change his whole. He's going to have to change like his whole way of throwing the football, and even for him to be remotely close to what Jameis is. Yeah, like honestly, man, like it is what it is. Cody says, no, Winston is a consistently poor decision maker for crab legs, Uber, and reading defense. Okay, see, this is a person right here. Shouts out to Cody. I know you watch the show a lot, but this is another person that's looking into the past and what is past transgressions and trying to bring that to the forefront. Okay, but let me go ahead and be devil's advocate here. If we're talking about poor decision making, let's go look at Alvin Kamara, who had to leave the University of Alabama because of poor decision making. Who was, you know what I'm saying, wasn't going to class when he went to that junior college and almost got kicked out before he went to the University of Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if we were just doing that based on a guy's past, will we have Alvin Kamara, who is arguably the best running back in football right now? Will we have a guy like that on our squad? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? There's other guys that have been on this same squad who have gotten in trouble, who have been, you know what I'm saying, has been in and out of trouble throughout their career. But guess what? You know what I'm saying? Those guys are still productive. That has absolutely nothing to do. I tell people all the time, I thank God that they don't have like footage of me when I was at Jackson State University for some of the stuff that I did. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all would look at TJ Jones a completely different way. That's all I'm saying, man. We can't judge people based on their past. But let me start with CB on this one. CB, we see right here, Cody was talking about, him being a poor decision maker, bringing up the Uber situation, bringing up the stolen crab legs, walking about the store when he was at Florida State. What do you think about this, man? You think we need to still hold this guy accountable for what he did when he was younger?
Nah, I mean, like you said, man, that just goes to show, that it's beyond football, with people going against Jameis. And not said, like I said, we're gonna find out. I mean, I want Jameis to start. I think he's gonna start, but at the end of the day, we will see what happens. But crab legs, the Uber, what does that have to do with him on the field? So that just tell a good bit of people, not everybody that's anti-Jameis. A lot of people, is bringing up stuff like that. That's their issue. If you riding with, okay, he's a poor decision maker, that's it. Okay, that's football. That's football. He have shown to make some poor decisions. I can respect that, but stuff like the Uber driver, that's his personal life. That has nothing to do with, what he doing on the field. So, like I said, he done growed up, and like you said, we all got a young college, a young college pass, but we just didn't get caught. Jameis was at Florida State. They was competing. They was in the top 10, compete for nationals. So he was getting, when he done something like that, it was gonna get aired out like that. When Kamar was getting in trouble at a JUCO, University of Tennessee, he was down there with Derrick Henry. They were stacked down there. So it really wasn't getting, publicized, what he was doing. But, when you a kid, you act like a kid. Now he's grown and he's going, into a man.
Yep.
When you 18 and stuff, to me, you still a kid when you 18, 19, you still growing up. You just not getting on your own as a man. You gonna have some trial and error, and you gotta grow up. You gotta grow up.
Not even on the Saints. Like if we really wanted to talk about, like you can go into so many players' background and just and feel that way about them if you want to go off his perspective of James. For instance, and CB knows this, I'm a huge Taco Charlton fan. You know, I love Taco Charlton. That's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if we went back to his time in Michigan, nobody would tell you that when he was in Michigan, he got in trouble 4 times with the police for sexual harassment, sexual assault. Like, there were so many things that he did that the public didn't tell you about with Taco Charlton, that he's still in the NFL. I don't care how many teams he's been traded to or he's gone to, he's still making millions of dollars to do what he loves to do. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's judging him about his past. They just want him to go to the Kansas City Chiefs and play football and do what they're paying him to do. You know?
Right.
Like, you got to stop judging people based off of what they did when they were in college or when they were kids and teenagers. He's a grown man now. This man, Jameis Winston, changed his whole diet, lost weight. He went vegan. Probably keto, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? Like, he literally moved his family to California so that he can train better, just to clear his mind, so that he just can focus strictly on his talent so that he can better himself. You ain't hearing any of that about Taysom.
Yep. Yeah.
But you still want him to be the quarterback based off of Jameis, what Jameis did at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like sometimes, man, some of these fans, man, they want these guys to be choir boys. You know what I'm saying? Like they look at somebody like Drew Brees, say all the right things, do all the right things, shake hands, kiss babies, and walk around with his family and stuff like that, and almost like make it seem like it's a political thing. But everybody ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not that politically correct. Everybody don't walk around like that. That don't mean that a guy can't lead a team. That doesn't mean that a guy can't win you football games. And look, if this guy could go out here and he can ball out, then I ain't got no problem with him. I ain't sitting up here trying to worry about, you know what I'm saying, what he did, you know what I'm saying, when he was in school, because like I said, we're young. When you're young, you're impressionable. I mean, as a guy, I know, you know, like when you're in school, you're young, you're around, you know what I'm saying, like 15-to-1 ratio, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to guys to girls, and you trying to impress these girls doing all kind of crazy stuff and all that kind of stuff, trying to show how hard you is, because, you know, you heard that some of them like a roughneck, you know what I'm saying? You do crazy things. Exactly. So dudes do crazy stuff. I mean, it just is what it is. But I will say this, as a 34-year-old man that's married with a son, Jameis Winston married, got 2 kids. I can tell you, man, there's nothing like that changes you like being having a wife, having some kids. When people are actually looking at you, looking at you as an example maker, the things that you're doing, it changes you. Some of the things that you may want to do, you mean like, man, I don't want my son to be looking at me. Or I don't want my daughter to be looking at me like that. It changes you, man. So I'm not going to hold this dude accountable for some mistakes that he did back in the G. What are you doing right now? What I see is a guy who at week 17 of the 2019 season said, I have what it takes to be the best quarterback of the league. All I have to do is get rid of some of these interceptions. And what I seen was a guy who took, you know what I'm saying, $1 million and came to an organization. What I seen was a guy who dropped 30 pounds and, you know what I'm saying, and got into the best shape of his life. Got with a whole bunch of different trainers like Jay Glazer and you know what I'm saying, and also Ty McGurkin, you know what I'm saying, Drew Brees' old trainer. This seems like a guy to me who is trying to turn over a new leaf. Now, you're entitled to your own opinion about what you feel about the guy. That's on you. But once again, it goes back to the show I had previous. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not having an appreciation for the development and the growth of these players. You know what I'm saying? You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't have an appreciation for the development of growth in your own life. So for all those people out there that don't feel like a person can change, a person can develop, think about your life. Think about some of the worst decisions that you made in your life. And just think about, would you want a person to continuously hold you accountable for some of the mistakes that you made? Because some of us probably did worse than stole some crab legs. You know what I'm saying? Some of us did something worse, you know what I'm saying, than some of the things that he was accused of doing. I'm just being 100. But we had to ask for forgiveness, and we wanted the world to look at us differently. So why not do this for this young man? That's all I'm saying. Anybody else have anything else before we move on?
I wanted to say something right quick, man.
Yeah.
Well, what's the deal with everybody? Well, not everybody, but some people comparing him to Aaron Brooks. I mean, is that more like a black? I mean, Aaron Brooks had, he had a strong arm, but his arm talent, it wasn't nowhere near Jameis. I mean, when Jameis is on point, Aaron Brooks' arm talent wasn't like that. So I don't know what that comparison is coming. Is it just because they're black and Aaron Brooks did turn the ball over, but I don't see that comparison.
Yeah.
Him and Aaron Brooks.
I don't either. I don't
I
either.
don't.
I can't answer that. I cannot answer that. Let's move on. Let's answer a few more questions, then we'll get up out of here. Kai says, I feel Peyton Turner is coming for Marcus Davenport's job. That don't seem like it's very hard to do. This is a make or break year for Mr. Can't get right. Davenport. If he can't stay healthy or make immediate impact, he can kick rocks. Well, look, here's the thing, Kai. I'm getting some Brandon Coleman vibes here because everybody's saying that Marcus Davenport is doing all the right things. He's coming in. It seems like he's asking more questions, according to Cam Jordan, the leader of the defensive line. Marcus Davenport, I start with you on this one, Carly. Marcus Davenport, what are your thoughts on him? He gets a fifth-year option. Seems like the Saints want to give him one more chance to right the wrongs of his career that was plagued with injuries, and I don't want to call it disappointments, but a lot to be desired.
I say give it to him because we know when he's healthy what he can do. We know how great of a player he is when he is healthy. So I say give it to him because he's worth the shot. And also I'm being just a tiny bit biased because I live in San Antonio and I've met the guy 2 times in the HEB store. So seems like a pretty nice guy. I'm so happy he's letting the blonde hair go out because he definitely looked like Goku the last few times I've seen him. But on a more serious note, I just think that I want him because he's so good, y'all, when he's healthy that now that he is 100% healthy, I want to see what he can do. Like his mentality has changed, him learning the playbook has changed. He said he's reading more. He said that he's focusing more on his technique and how to get off the back feet and run faster. You know what I'm saying? Like he's working on things, and I just want to see that go into fruition because I know how good he can be when he's 100%. He's have health issues, and even if he doesn't do well, I wouldn't want to cut him off the team. I just wouldn't pay him top dollar. But I really do want to see what this guy can do at his full potential because he's a beast. We know he's good. He just can't stay healthy long enough to show us all of what he can do.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, he's good, but he leaves a lot to be desired. CB, there's a saying. They say he's hell when he's well, but don't seem like he's really well as much. But are you ready to give up on Marcus Davenport as a pass rusher and going forward after this 5th year?
Oh, we'll see. I mean, just looking at Peyton Turner's numbers, 12 million guaranteed, 6 million sign-up bonus. He gonna be playing somewhere, regardless of how his camp doing. He gonna be playing somewhere. He not gonna be no, 1 year, red shirt guy. He gonna be playing. I mean, he did have 3 years of playing the 3 at UH, before he got shifted out to the end. So he may be the 3 and Davenport out there. I don't know, but as far as on Davenport's behalf, he definitely gonna have some competition. So he got to step it up. And in my opinion, I believe that, he was healthy a good part of the second half of the season. I believe he got healthy and he just wasn't getting to the quarterback. Now they came out with some numbers. I believe it was PFF. He was top 2 or top 3, with the most pressure, QB pressure rates. But, if we're going to judge him based off of that, we might as well say, he played like a Jadeveon Clowney because Clowney was, getting a lot of pressure. But we bring him in, that we move up, for him just to get pressure on the quarterback, or did we pay him to bring the quarterback down?
Look, I think what he does well is tackle behind the line of scrimmage when it comes to running backs. He did really good, setting the edge his first year. Like he was ranked like one of the top edge rushers when it comes to like run stop. but he never like transitioned. Second year, he got a little bit better. He started to like get a couple sacks. He was on a trajectory to like get double-digit sacks, but he ended up being out for the season. Third year, I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what was going on with that. I mean, yeah, he took about 3 steps back. I don't know what was going on with him. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm not ready to give up on him just yet. He's a freak of nature. He has a lot of talent. He has a lot of ability. He has a lot of skills. I'm just hoping that it can transition because, I mean, look, we seen Trey Hendrickson get a bag when he was supposed to be the starter. I'm talking Davenport. You know what I'm saying? You let another man get a whole bag off you because you couldn't hit the field and he was more productive than you. That's a big no-no, okay? Trey Hendrickson was a 3rd-round pick. Could have been a 1st-round pick if he would have stayed out of trouble. I just want to throw that out there. He got in trouble in college, which the reason why he ended up being a 3rd-round pick, but now he's getting paid in Cincinnati. So can't always judge a guy on his past. But anyway, you look at a guy like Peyton Turner, Tano Passanio, a guy who, to me, could be a starter on anybody's team. Could have been a starter out there in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? But they decided they wanted to go in a different direction. So there's a lot of guys coming in that could take his job. So he has got to be careful. He has got to be he got to stay healthy, man. He got to stay healthy. I mean, look, you play all. I mean, you was going to your 3rd year or something like that, if I'm mistaken, and you play in your first playoff game. The team has made the playoffs every single year you've been in the league, and that was your first playoff game last year. That's insane, man. So, man, hopefully he can stay healthy. Because if he does, to me, I think he's going to be extremely productive. Davenport, he's a beast, all right. Ain't nobody scared of Davenport. When Cam Jordan was kicking out the game against the Chiefs, wasn't that Davenport the Chiefs went after? Yeah, it was. It was. And that's something I said. I don't know what happened. He was setting the edge like I don't know what a couple of years back, but I can tell you one game in particular, and I've said this before on this show. It was a game against the Minnesota Vikings. It was the same game where when Alvin Kamara ran for 6 touchdowns. If you looked at the first half of that game, Dalvin Cook was beasting, and he was running to the left side. It got so bad in the second half, if you notice, Cam Jordan flipped from the right to the left, and that's when they started to neutralize Dalvin Cook. It was bad, man. Like, I was like, what is going on? It's like every time that he ran to the right, he'll probably get 1 or 2 yards. He run to the left side, he getting chunks of yards. And I don't know if it's something going on with his confidence. I mean, he don't seem like the type of guy, that's the rah-rah guy. Guys get sacks and they got their little celebrations. He get a sack. It's like, man, let me get back to this huddle. It doesn't seem like, to me, he's wired like you see most defensive ends. Like some of those guys, man, you got to have a screw loose. It seems like, to me, he doesn't have that. I don't know. He doesn't have that edge, man. Like I don't know. He's just like, he's a technique. I just feel like you got to be. He got to be a dog, man.
He actually said in his interview from yesterday, he actually mentioned exactly what you're talking about. Davenport did. He said that he's worked on his confidence this offseason. He said that he know he can do it. He just don't know why it's just not showing up. And so, oh my God.
I'm sorry.
But he definitely feels the same. He felt the same way that you feel about his mentality, and because he talked about it in his minicamp interviews about how he worked on that a lot this offseason, his confidence and just knowing that he can do it and just go out there and do it. Like he know he can do it. He just don't know why it's not showing up. So he worked. He said that was something he worked on a lot.
Yeah, man. Hopefully he do, man. Cody seemed like he have a vendetta against Jameis. Nobody judging him on his past. The dude just been making bad decisions in his private life and on the field. He has to prove he can rise up. Anybody can practice with third string and watch film. A lot of the decisions.
So much.
I don't know. Man, look, the man not running for president of the United States. This man trying to be a quarterback, and a lot of he hasn't made any bad decisions as a pro. Like even everything that he got suspended for, like the situation he got suspended for happened when he was at Florida State. He has done absolutely nothing when he as a pro.
But
he got suspended for what happened at Florida State.
I guarantee you, this guy Chris, who's keep complaining about Jameis Winston's private life, I guarantee you, when Drew Brees came out and said what he said, and everybody was on his ass about it, I bet you that guy Chris was all with Drew Brees, stood up for Drew Brees. Drew don't need to apologize for that. I agree with him 100%. I guarantee you, he's that kind of guy that did just that. Like, no, you. If we won't judge somebody off of their private, like, you don't know what Drew Brees was doing behind closed doors. As a matter of fact, you do know because he showed his ass on TV. And everybody just looked past it, but guess what? They still praised him for it when he retired.
Yep.
Like, let's not do that.
All I'm saying is, if this man come out here and start beasting, I just want people to keep that same energy they had when they was talking about this man wasn't the answer. That's all I'm saying. Keep that same energy. I'm one of the people that's skeptical on Davenport, but I also believe that Peyton Turner is just the person Davenport needs alongside him in their locker room, not just because of on the field potential. Look, I just think that Davenport needs to worry about himself. Like, look,
right,
man, nobody can hold your hand, man. This ain't Sesame Street. You know what I'm saying? This ain't preschool. You have to be able to, like this is Invictus. You know what I'm saying? Anybody ever heard the poem Invictus? They say, you know what I'm saying, I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. All these people, I need this guy to do an interview with me. That was wrong with Kamara. Michael Thomas ain't got no number 2. Like, bump all that. Look, you decide your own fate. You decide the type of player that you want to be. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or maybe about it. They gave you the 5th-year option. You have an opportunity to put yourself in a market to make some elite money, rather it's with the Saints or somebody else. And nobody is going to hold your hand with it. And this is a result-driven league, man. You can have all the skills and all the ability as you want to, but at the end of the day, if you can't translate to the field or you ain't out here on the field, ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it's put up a shut up time for this dude, man. Like, for real. Like, I like Davenport. I think that he's extremely athletic. I seen flashes, but man, looking at flashes, those days over, man. Like, you look at flashes when they rookie. I see flashes. You see flashes when you're rookie. When you're in your 3rd or 4th year, people need to know who you are. And we're going to what, his 4th year? I don't know who the hell he is. I mean, I don't know who he is. Do y'all know? I don't know who he is. I know that he's a very soft-spoken guy, is tall and athletic, but that's about it. And I'm still asking questions about who Davenport is and going into what, his 4th season? That's a big no-no, man. It's put up a shut-up time. And I want him to succeed, but man, all that hand holding and man, it's time out for that, man. Like, dude, you going into the deep parts of your career, and people are starting to look at you like you're in bust territory. And the Saints gave up a lot for this dude. Like, they gave up a 1st-round pick for this dude. You know what I'm saying, with Green Bay. I mean, I don't know, man. And it only looks worse. And this is the last thing I say. It only looks worse because of who we could have got if we didn't draft him. Everybody thought we was getting Lamar Jackson. And what has Lamar Jackson went on and done? Won league MVP. So every time he sits he's off the field or he in a tub, so to speak, people looking at him, man, we could have got Lamar, man. We could have had Lamar and could have been over and done with. So I don't know. We're gonna read 2 more. T Dirty says, if I wanted to see flashes out by a camera, I want to see a beast. I'm with you, TJ. I ain't lying about that. And Johnny says, who's the number 2 starting defensive tackle? That's a very good question. I'm gonna have to go. Well, I'll just see what y'all got to say, and then we'll just wrap it up there. I'll start with you, CB. Who do you see? We know that David Onyemata is the one at the interior lineman position. Who do you think is going to be the number 2 defensive tackle in the 4-3 of the New Orleans Saints?
I believe Peyton Turner got a shot. I mean, I don't know it.
You still got Shy Tuttle and you still got Malcolm Roach.
Yeah. Well, one of them could be starting. If I would go with one of them, I think Malcolm Roach. I would go with Malcolm Roach. But somebody, I don't know their vision, with Peyton Turner. Is they gonna play him inside? I mean, or is they gonna have Davenport lost his position? I just don't see Davenport gonna be. I believe he gonna be out there, and Peyton Turner gonna be out there. So I mean, somebody gonna have to get inside. I don't know if they plan on doing it that way, or it's just Davenport, he done lost his position, or they just gonna battle it out, him and Turner. But if it ends up like that, they just battle it out on the ends. I think I'll go with Malcolm Roach getting inside. Yeah, he definitely showed some flashes. Shot Tuttle is solid as well, but Malcolm Roach was getting back there to the quarterback and was a hell of a run stopper. Yeah, sure. So I'll go with Malcolm Roach.
Yeah, they both stepped up. Phil, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says go purchase the Aunt Carly Who That Nation chat line teas and delicious cakes on her website. She's goated. So they're saying you the goat of them cakes. You know what I'm saying? Cake goat in the building. I'll be ripping them. Thank you very much for the $2. Said read my comment. This is a match made in heaven. Yeah, I'll be ripping them. Thank you very much for the $2. I appreciate that. I don't know if you had a comment. Let me see. I'll be ripping them. Said this girl's so fine, she makes me consider not talking about my farts in front of her. So I'll be ripping them. Who's a regular on the State of the Saints podcast. Always had jokes with flatulence. You know, on the show. Always good for some fart humor. So you making him want to change his life, Carly. Apparently, okay. So, but question. Okay, defensive tackle, Carly. Who you see? Malcolm Roach. I'm
Shot Tuttle. I'm staying in Texas, baby. Malcolm Roach.
Yeah, Malcolm Roach is an incredible guy. I mean, tackle, man. He was good when he was at Texas. I watched him quite a bit. A lot of Big 12 football. You know, I watched him play, and he played really good. And he played really good in that first game versus Tampa, man. I mean, he was standing out, and he had a few games when Malcolm Brown was down, and he came in, in flashes. I mean, man, he really showed some stuff. Him and Carl Granderson, I have to say, you have to be on the lookout for it because every time they hit the field, you knew they was out there. Yeah. So, those were recognizable guys. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, and I want to thank CB and Carly from the Who That Nation chat line for being a special guest here on the State of the Saints podcast. And before you all go, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you. CB, I'll start with you.
Y'all can definitely check us out on the YouTube page, Twitter page, and Facebook page. We a passionate group of Saints fans that just love to talk Saints football, and we want to thank TJ for letting us on the show. TJ, man, he's definitely taking this podcast he have, running away with it. You know, look up to him, man, with this podcast, and he just said he inspires me to do better on this podcast. He's inspired other people that's tuned in. I seen B&G podcast. Shout out to Aaron. He said he's been inspired by TJ to start a podcast. So just want to, tell TJ, man, you're doing a hell of a job, man. And you got people looking up to you, man, inspiring us to, do better, start something and it can, blossom. So, man, appreciate you for, letting us come on.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate y'all for being here.
How the hell I'm supposed to come up with something after that digitation? No, man, in all seriousness, TJ, man, thank you so much for having me. It's been fun. We got the same vision, man. We just two kids out of New Orleans out the night while trying to talk Saints sports. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for having me. It's been an honor. And for all of y'all, thank y'all for rocking with us. We see y'all. And buy the shirts, y'all. It's wdnchatline.bigcartel.com for shirts, pecan candies, cakes. Whatever y'all need, we got y'all. We got y'all sweet tooth. And we have a Father's Day giveaway. Y'all go to my Twitter page at Just Pretty Carly and enter if y'all have a diehard father who's a big Saints fan so they can be entered into our Father's Day giveaway. You're going to get some pecan candy, some sweets, a t-shirt. So y'all go enter y'all fathers. I don't want them, I promise. It's going to be just for the giveaway.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you all are doing an outstanding job on the Who That Nation chat line. WD, who's not here, I mean, he does an outstanding job with you all as well. You all keep up the good work, man. And that's what it's all about, man. It's about growing. Like we all, we all have something to add to the table, and all bring to the table. And I just think that, you know, as a community, if we rally around each other, we all can get to where we need to be. And, you know, everybody that's inspired to do a podcast, rather you watch Who That Nation chat line, State of the Saints podcast, Black and Gold Breakdown, or whatever podcast you check out. I mean, just do it with all the love and the passion that you have. Carla already alluded to it, and we talked before we got started. I mean, we're just, you know, from the Ninth Ward. You know what I'm saying? I'm born and raised in New Orleans, passionate about the New Orleans Saints. And I love my team, man. I love my city. So thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you all for being here on the State of the Saints podcast. Before you go ahead and give your boy a golden thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Not a thumbs up, but a golden thumbs up. Let everybody know that you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also subscribe to the WDN chat line as well, man. Go over, you know, once this is over, go ahead and put that search in. Who That Nation, WDN chat line. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel too, man. Y'all know what y'all missing. I mean, good content over there, fun times. Man, just great breakdown, great phone calls, everything that you need, man. Go ahead and check it out. CB, Carly, WD doing a really good job. Really do appreciate it. Previous episodes of the State of the Saints podcast on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. It is presented by manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints. Save 20% on your purchase. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?